pivot tables. Pivot tables seem like something in Excel that maybe some people shy away from because they think it sounds complicated, or maybe it looks confusing, or maybe you've had a bad experience in the past where you didn't get the information you wanted and you tried doing pivot tables. Well, today I'm going to help you guys learn how to do a pivot table, but specifically around using the information you get from your accounting system. So this is a continuation of our How to Do Stuff in QuickBooks Online series, but today we're going to combine that with Excel. So we're going to do Excel plus QuickBooks Online, and ultimately what you're going to get at the end of the day is a way for you to understand your data that much better, and that's what we're going to do in today's video. So welcome back to the Clara CFO Group channel. Today we are focusing on understanding your data because, it's great to have great bookkeeping and it's great to, keep up to date and know how to do all the things in QuickBooks, but if you are not using that information for anything and it's not actually helping you make decisions at the end of the day, it's has limited helpfulness, I guess you would say. So what we want to do is help you take your QuickBooks information, amp it up to the next level. And so that's what we're going to do today with pivot tables. So we're going to hop into Excel in just a little bit. We're going to first go into QuickBooks, then we're going to go into Excel, and I'm going to show you guys how to construct a pivot table. So we're going to specifically use a data point. So we're going to use software expenses in this example, and we're going to take that information and sort it in a way that's going to help us figure out things about the business. And we're actually going to use my business in this example. So you're going to see how much I spend on software. And as an online business and a business that operates fully remotely, you will see kind of some of the expenses that go along with that. So hopefully this will be really helpful for you guys. So if it is, and you want to learn how to do pivot tables just for anything, this should be helpful, but specifically in analyzing your accounting data. So if this information is helpful to you, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and also make sure you're subscribed to the channel because we've got more great content for you and your small business on the way. And we post videos every week over here, so make sure you click the little bell because that helps you know when the new video is posted. We usually do those on Thursday afternoon, so watch out for those. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into Excel and QuickBooks. So the first thing we want to do when we're looking at data is we're going to decide what we want to dissect into a pivot table. And one of the times that I find myself using this the most when I'm in QuickBooks Online is around transactions where there's a lot of detail and there could be a lot of moving parts. So something like software. I have a lot of software expenses and I use lots of different software because I am an online business. So let's go ahead and dissect the software in my business for 2021. Let's take a look. So what I'm going to do is I pulled a P&L and then I made the date range the full year. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually click on this since this is hyperlinked to the activity underneath. From here, I can pull up a transaction report, and this is giving me everything from January to December. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and export that to Excel. And here we are in the transaction report. So this is the Excel detail of what I just showed you guys. And this is basically the summary of everything underneath. So you'll be able to tell that the total here is 9,127, which is what we just looked at. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to create a pivot table off of this information. Now, what the critical stuff I want to know is I want to know how much is being charged by vendor and over time. So these are kind of the big pieces of information that we want to know. We've got this date range, we've got the name. Now, some people, when you're doing your bookkeeping, you might not be putting this vendor name in here. So this is really critical. If you're not doing this, you're going to have to go through and manually put this in because what pivot tables need to do is they need to identify the exact same input. So if Microsoft is spelled incorrectly over here and then spelled differently here, then the pivot table won't recognize that these two are the same and won't put them in the same category. So that's why I can't go off of this memo description line because you see the data here and the data here are different.
because I have two separate charges and therefore two different things. So what we need to do is we need to standardize if we're going to try to, use our data and separate it based on something like a vendor name. You want to make sure that that vendor name is the same every single time. So when you're doing your bookkeeping and you're in the bank rules or you're in the banking section and you're adding those transactions, every time you can set up rules that say every time eFax comes in, for example, it's going to automatically name it eFax. So this is a way that you can standardize this and you can set up your vendors so that they're always the same. All right, so one of the first things you need to do before you create a pivot table is you need to decide where your table is. So what is happening right now is the way that this report comes out of QuickBooks Online, we have these two blank lines up here, and it's disconnecting our column names with our data in our table. So whenever you have a table, there's going to be column names and then your data underneath your column names. But one thing that the pivot table will not be able to do is it will not recognize these gaps. So what you need to do is you need to disassociate or take away these two blank items. You don't need them anyway, so let's take them away. Now we have a complete table here because the column names are associated with the column data. Okay, so that is really critical. It seems like a very, very simple thing, but that's something that we really need to do in order to create a pivot table. And then the next thing, and I know this because I have dealt with pivot tables from QuickBooks Online for a long time, the data here in the date range is actually doesn't get read very well by a pivot table. Even if I change it to a date format and I select all of the information, shift control down arrow to do that, and then I go to short date, it will change the date format here, but I will show you what happens if I select all of my data. If I select all of my data for in the table, I don't need this balance account over here, so I just left that out. I go to Insert Pivot Table, New Worksheet, OK. And if I want, I'm going to go by name because that's my vendor. So I'm going to click name and it's going to be in the rows column. And if this accidentally goes over here or something like that, you can just move it. If it becomes a column, you can move it into rows. Excel is smart enough to understand what you're trying to do, so it will make a suggestion, but sometimes you have to tell it what to do. And then we're going to put amount next to it. So you see how now the sum of all the amounts that I paid, let's say to Acuity Scheduling, the sum of all my amounts are here, okay? So I've got name and amounts. Now, what if I want to do it by date? If I want to do it by date, unfortunately, the way that it's reading the dates right now, it's not giving me the option to separate things out by month. So I actually want to go back and I want to change the date type. And I'm just going to use this blank column here because I can. There's nothing in this column. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually change this and I'm going to call it I'm going to go date value. Oops. Date value is the formula. And then I'm going to select on that date column. And this gives you a number, which translates to a date. I'm going to fill that all the way down, but then I'm going to go and change it to a short date. And for whatever reason, Excel will read this date better. Okay, so for whatever reason, the formatting that comes out of QuickBooks, the pivot table really doesn't like it. So let's do this again on the pivot table. What we're going to do is that we're actually going to refresh, okay? And when we refresh that data, we right-clicked, and then we have that option to refresh. So it remembers the table range that we selected, and we're going to refresh it. And now I've got this date value as an option, and I'm going to take off that other date. And so you'll see now I've got the option to do months. And I'm going to just remove this date value field. So now I have this beautiful chart that shows me months across the top. And remember, I pulled this for all of 2021. I have January, February, March, April, May, all across the top. I have my vendors down the side, and I can see how much money I spent at every single vendor during the year. So how great is this? What this helps me see is it helps me see, wow, either if I'm having increasing costs over the year, like for example, on ConvertKit, because my email list is growing, I have increasing costs, which makes sense. And then I did a big email list cleanup in May, which jumped my price down from there. So you can see that. You can see the things that I'm on annual payments for. So Dropbox, for example. You can see where I was paying for a software, but then I quit paying for a software, for example. You can see now where I was on a monthly payment. This is for my social media scheduling tool. And then I decided at the end of the year to do an annual payment instead. So you can see that this gives us lots of information. Like here was an e-fax was something that I used for one particular time, and then of course got caught on, a couple months before I caught this expense. But by doing this process and seeing my software here in a nice pivot table, I can actually analyze my data and say, wow, okay, like I should not be paying for eFax. And then, I could catch that really quickly. Or, maybe if I want to take something like Microsoft, or if I want to take something like this Podia, I've been paying for it monthly. If I've been using it for so long, maybe I want to see if I can switch to annual and maybe save some money. So this is the type of thing that can be really, really helpful for us, you guys. And so pivot tables can be used in just a myriad of different ways, and they can help you analyze data in so many different ways. So we're going to walk through this one more time. First thing you need to do to create a pivot table is you need to have a table. So you need to have a table of information, which includes column headers and then the data underneath. So I've selected the column headers, and I'm just going to go do Control Shift down to include everything in that table. And then you go up into the corner over here and go Insert Pivot Table into a new worksheet. Or you can put it in the existing worksheet either. It's just, this is where you want it to sit, the pivot table. And then remember how we changed the date values. So we're going to use our date values. And then we also want to see who this information is going to. And then we want to see the amount. Okay. And this can also help us see. So now we can see how much software we spent each month, or how much we spent on software each month. We could also see it this way if we want to. We could remove this, and that's where we get to see our vendor. So you see down here in the corner, the rows are the name, the vendor name. The columns is the month. And then the sum of the amount from each of those months will be found in, so Adobe in January spent $308, Adobe in February, $882. And then if you want to see this in a different way, we could see in January, this is harder to read for me. I don't necessarily like this presentation as much, where we see the vendor name across the top and then the date across the left-hand side on the rows. I don't prefer that. Some people might, but I do not prefer that. If you wanted to see this in an expanded version, you could see how much you spent in the month and what that was made up of. And remember, whenever you're in a pivot table, you can double click on the amount and it will open up a new sheet and show you everything that's summarized there. So let's give you an example here. You can summarize everything that was in January, and it will show you everything that was in January that sums up to that amount. So 767, and that was 767 from January. All right. So pivot tables can be used in so many different ways, you guys. There are just, you can analyze all sorts of data with a table, with a pivot table. Sometimes what you really need to keep in mind is the formatting, like we did for the dates, which can help the pivots just go that much easier. So keep that in mind. If there's any questions you have about running pivot tables or anything else you'd like to see in Excel, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much.
All right, well, now you know how to do pivot tables. Awesome. practice, practice, practice. Keep doing pivot tables, keep mixing the data up, move things to the columns, move things to rows, have fun with it. And when you see a table, make sure you think like, how could I put this and how could I arrange it in multiple different ways so that this information is more helpful to me. So that's what pivot tables are all about. So hopefully this has been a big help to you, and I would love to hear how you use this information in the comment section below. So make sure you give me any suggestions and tell me how you're using pivot tables. I would love to hear that. And also, if there's any other Excel tricks you'd like to learn, please put those in the comments below too, because I love Excel. I'm in Excel every single day. So I'd be happy to share tips with you there as well. All right. Thanks, you guys. Bye.